everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the T is for Today podcast. How y'all doing? If this is your first time here, welcome. You can let me introduce myself first. My name is Jess, okay? And yeah. But to get more information, because all I said was my name, you can definitely go back and listen to episode 1. Pull up, and it'll give you more information about who I am and how this podcast came to be. And if you are joining us here on YouTube, when I first started this podcast, I was not making videos along with me recording. So episodes 1 to 16, I want to say 1 to 16 are solely on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and then from 18 and beyond you can find also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube as well, because I started recording those things. All right, video recording. Okay, so today's episode it's gonna be a little bit of a rebuke, just a tiny bit, okay? So on these previous episodes, we really just been talking about doing the things that we said we were going to do, and not just sitting on them. So this episode is entitled "Get It Together." And I'm going to tell you where I got the idea for this episode title for. But I just want to give a quick overview and summary of this episode. And then we are going to get into the thick of it. So in summary, my question to you all is, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? And I say this because I just feel in my spirit, okay? I feel it in my spirit that some of you all made some commitments, from previous episodes that you've listened to, okay? But you still have not followed through with what you said. So what are you waiting for is my question. So that is why this episode is going to be a little gentle rebuke to get you back together, to remind you, because I'm not there physically in person with you, okay, to remind you of these things. So I'm going to be that person from afar in this podcast episode for you, because I'm rooting for you, okay? I'm rooting for myself. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for anybody that's trying to do some things that just need a little bit of encouragement, a little push to get them out there to do them things. And guess what? I'm going to be that for you today. You're welcome. So as I was sitting and thinking about what I wanted to record for this week, for this episode, the song "Get It Together" by 702 popped into my head. Okay, and I'm gonna say a little bit of the lyrics. It's they start off, "I don't really want to stay, I don't really want to go, but what I really need to know is, can we get it together?" Okay. And that's my question to you. Can you get it together? Can you? All right. Let's dive into these lyrics, okay? So when I thought about it, I'm like, this applies to a lot of our lives. Like, we don't want to stay in our current situation, right? But we're not quite sure if we really want to go either. But we're just hoping and praying that God will get us together. Y'all, that is hilarious. You don't really want to stay in your current situation, but you really are not sure if you want to go either. But you hoping and praying that God will get us together. Okay. So I want to tell y'all something. And this may be like a surprise to some of you all. Or maybe some of you all may know this. Okay? But God is not going to force you to do anything. Okay? That is why we have something called free will, meaning we are free to do what we please. Of course, with that free will, his desire is that we would choose the things that he wants us to do, right? But at the end of the day, he's not gonna force you to do anything. So I just want y'all to stop doing a couple of things, okay? At your big age right now, okay? At your big age, y'all, we need to get it together, guys. Please stop saying that you ain't on God, because in reality you're not. Let's come on, y'all. Let's be honest with each other here. How many times have you asked somebody something, right? It's like, oh, I need to pray about it. You already know from the jump, when they say I'm going to pray about it, that just told you everything that you needed to know, because you already know, one, they ain't about to pray about it, right? Two, it's a no. It's a no. People have even gone so far as like making a joke out of it. So let's say you are inviting your friend out to do something, you know, whatever. And like, oh, I need to pray about it to see if I'm going to make it or not. And please, don't act like y'all don't know. Y'all already know. As soon as that phrase comes out their mouth, y'all already know it's a no. It's a no. It's a no. So you, yourself, stop saying it. Stop saying it. Someone asks you, hey, are you still thinking about doing XYZ? Oh, you know, I'm still waiting on God to give me a sign. No, you not. No, you're not. You know what you're doing? I'm going to tell you what you're doing. You trying to buy some more time to see if you're actually going to do what God told you to do in the first place. Because 9 times out of 10, when people are talking like that, they already know what they're supposed to do. They already know. But they don't want to do it. That's why they're over here hoping and praying that God will get it together. No. You have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. Okay? As a part of having your free will is making decisions. And hopefully you're making good decisions, okay? So at the end of the day, you need to just make a move. You need to make a move. I once heard someone said, I don't know if it was a sermon I was listening to or what, but I once heard someone say that when water is not moving, it turns into sewage. When water is not moving, it turns into sewage. Think about it, okay? I reside in Houston, Texas. That's where I live. And not too long ago, we got a boil notice because whatever water plant that is supposed to be like, you know, filtrating and doing the things with the water, it stopped working. And so, or the pressure became, something happened, whether it stopped working or the water pressure became too low. And so when that happens, it leaves room for like other things and bacteria to enter into the water, which makes it dangerous for us to consume, right? But think about it. Anytime it floods in Houston, right? And it floods many places, but it'd be flooding bad in Houston. And so when that water's just sitting, bacteria and all this stuff gets in it, and it does become sewage. I'm going somewhere with this analogy, okay? So imagine that water being your life. When you're not making movement, when you're stagnant, it's sewage. And you know what sewage does? It stinks. Okay? It smells. What aroma is your life letting out right now? Is it a pleasing aroma or does it stink? Are you unhappy? Okay? But guess what? When water is moving, okay, it's good. It's refreshing. Wow, y'all think about that. If water stays still, it becomes sewage. When water is moving, it's fresh, okay? And it's okay for you to drink. The same thing with your life. When you are staying still and not doing nothing, it stinks. It's not enjoyable. But when there's movement in your life, it's refreshing to you. So I'm going to ask you this again. What are you doing? And this is not even like a what are you doing to like putting pressure on you to like be overly productive. No. Think back to those commitments that you've made to yourself from episode 19, episode 16, 17, 18. I don't know why I said the numbers out of order like that, but think back to those episodes, okay? And some of the things that you're like, man, I have been sitting on this. I really want to, put some movement underneath this because right now it's staying still and it's sewage because it don't have no movement. And what are you waiting for still? It's like that commercial. Like them old commercials back in the day. That what's that? DeVry University. You sitting there on the couch, think to yourself, hey, if the shoe fits, you sit in that car, driving to that job you don't like, thinking to yourself, what am I doing? And you still hoping and praying that God will get you together when he's waiting for you to get it together. Because you already know what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? So like I said, this episode was a little quick rebuke because I have nothing new to tell you. I have nothing new to tell you. When y'all start doing what you're supposed to be doing, then we can have another conversation about something else. But I just feel that some of y'all ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So, thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode. And if you need to, go back and listen to episode 19, 18, 17, and 16 to refresh and jog your memory as to what I'm even talking about in this episode. Okay? All those New Year's resolutions, they're about to become sewage, okay? If you don't put no movement with it. They're not just going to happen on its own. It requires you to move, to do something, okay? Can't be staying still. We cannot continue to stay still. So I thank you all for listening to this week's episode. Please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, send an email of how it's been encouraging and helpful to you. I love to interact with you all. So, yeah. I'll talk to you all next week. Bye.